guys, welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades and I'm here to get you started on Unit 26, the ERY ending. Please take a second to gather your materials. You will need your purple book open to page 161. You will also need some colorful pens, markers, or crayons. Remember, whatever I write on my board, you should be writing on your paper. You'll notice that I've already gone ahead and used brown vertical lines to mark my syllable breaks and pink checks to mark my stressed syllables. Those are the parts of the word that we say a little bit louder and stronger. If you would like to pause your video to add your own syllable breaks and checks, please do that now. All right, so we have spent many weeks talking about derivational suffixes. We know that those are clusters of letters that appear at the end of a word and can change its part of speech. So last week we learned about the ity suffix, and we noticed that at the end of a word, it usually signifies a noun. And often we can take an adjective and change it to a noun by adding the ity ending. So for instance, we can take diverse and change it to diversity. Well, this week we're going to notice something different with the ERY ending. That ERY ending often shows up, usually shows up at the end of a noun. I think out of our 20 words this week, 18 of them are nouns. Many of them started as a verb. In fact, many of the verbs already ended with ER. If you look at words like discover, deliver, or flatter, they already ended with R. So we just had to add a Y to make it a noun. In other cases, we had to add ERY to our verb to make it a noun. But we'll talk about that more in a second. For now, let's read our list. Please repeat after me. Artery, bakery, battery, bravery, cutlery, delivery, discovery, embroidery, every, flattery, forgery, gallery, lottery, misery, nursery, pottery, robbery, slavery, slippery, stationery. All right, what I want you to do first is I want you to choose a color, and we are going to go through our list and we are going to look for hidden verbs. So for instance, the word bakery. We know that's a noun, right? That's a place we go to buy fresh bread and cookies and pies. It is a place where people bake. So I can take the word bake and add the suffix ERY, and I have bakery. Now notice I don't want two E's there, so I'm going to drop that silent E so I can add my vowel suffix. So a bakery is a place where people bake. Let's look at bravery. I usually think of the word brave as an adjective, a describing word. Oh, she is so brave. He is very brave. But it can also be used as a verb if you do brave things. So for instance, he braved the storm to rescue his dog. So when you brave something, you go through something difficult, right? So brave becomes bravery. Again, because it ended with silent E, I'm getting rid of that silent E and changing it to bravery, okay? So bravery is, it's like a character trait or a characteristic, right? People show bravery when they are willing to do scary or difficult things. Deliver becomes delivery. You know about deliveries, right? Like a delivery service. If you want food delivered to your house, you call them up and they will bring the food to you. So that would be delivery. Discovery has discover hiding in there. Notice I didn't have to add the ER to these words. I did here, bakery, bravery, but not here because deliver and discover already ended. So a discovery is something that you notice for the first time, right? You're looking under the couch and you make a discovery. You're like, oh, there's the earring I was missing, right? Embroidery is a noun. That's a type of needlework. If a person embroiders something, then they have done some embroidery. Flattery is a noun. If you flatter someone, you tell them how wonderful they are, how beautiful they look, you are using flattery. Forgery. A forgery is a fake. It's a thing. And it comes from the verb forge. So if you forge your mother's name on a permission slip, you are writing her name. So you are faking it, right? So that signature is a fake. It's a forgery. Look at nursery. There's a verb hiding in there. To nurse someone is to take care of them, right? So a nursery is a place where we take care of babies, or it could also be a place where we take care of plants. If you think about a garden center, they have a nursery where they have lots of flowers and plants that they grow. So to nurse is to take care or tend to babies, sick people, or plants. And a nursery is a place where we do that. So it could be a place for babies or a place for plants. Robbery. Notice in this case, we had to add the ERY, but we also had to double our B, right? So a robbery is a theft. I think that's it. So over here, anything that's in blue ends in ERY, obviously. It's a noun. Hold on. Anything in blue ends with ERY, but it started as a verb and changed to a noun, okay? Now, there are some other words on our list that are also nouns, but there's not an easy to spot verb hiding in there. So if you look at the word artery, that's a noun, but I can't pull out a verb for you. I just have to tell you what it is. So an artery is a blood, like a major blood vessel. So if you cut your finger and it bleeds, you're going to be fine because you just have small blood vessels right there. If you get a bad cut in your neck and you cut an artery, like your carotid artery, you could bleed to death, right? Because the arteries are the biggest vessels that bring blood from your heart to the rest of your body. So if you cut an artery, you're going to bleed out very quickly. So anyway, an artery is a major blood vessel. A battery, I think you know what that means, right? You can buy them at the store. AA batteries, C batteries, D batteries. Those are the little metal canisters or cylinders that you use to keep your electronics running when they're not plugged in. So that's a battery. Cutlery would be knives. Sometimes for their wedding, people get a cutlery set, some really nice sharp knives. A gallery. Again, no verb hiding in there, but a gallery is a showroom. So an art gallery would be a place where you can go to admire beautiful pieces of art. Okay. Lottery is a noun. That's like a gambling game people play. So Some states have a lottery, so you spend money on a lottery ticket, and if you win, you're going to earn a lot of money, right? So I'm going to say lottery is a chance to win. Sometimes we talk about, certain private schools, they have too many kids that want to go there, so they pull names using a lottery system. So if you enter the lottery, you're earning a chance to win. Okay, so winning the lottery doesn't always mean you win money. It could mean you win something else. Misery is a noun. There's no verb form there, but there is an adjective. I'm sure you've heard of miserable, right? So misery and miserable come from the same root. And misery is just like extreme unhappiness, right? You are feeling miserable. Pottery, that's a noun. Pottery would be pots and vessels and bowls made out of clay. Maybe you've heard of a pottery wheel before, where it spins and you throw a lump of clay on there and then you can turn it into a big, a vase or a bowl or some nice piece of pottery. Slavery is a noun. Slavery is a whole system of using slaves, so forcing people to, work for you for free and, under horrible conditions. So slaves are the people that are forced to work for others without getting paid and without rights, but slavery is that whole system. And then stationery is also a noun. Stationery would be nice paper. So if you're going to write a thank you note to your grandmother, instead of using a piece of lined paper, you might use a nice piece of stationery. Usually stationery is a little bit thicker. It maybe has a matching envelope. Sometimes there's like a fancy border around the edge. So that would be stationery. Now you have to be careful because there's another kind of stationery that's spelled like this with an ARY, and that means not moving. So if you've ever seen a stationary bike, right, it's different than a regular bike because it doesn't move. The pedals move, but the bicycle stays in one spot. So this kind of stationary means not moving. This kind of stationery means fancy paper. Everything in green is a noun. Okay? That leaves us only 2 words on our list, and they are both adjectives. So the first one is the word every. Every means all. I bet you know that word. I think what's tricky for some kids is they forget that E because they think it's every. They don't hear the ever-E. So make sure you put that E in there when you spell it. And then our other adjective is slippery, right? And if something is slippery, you might slip. Okay, so something slippery makes it easy for you to fall. Okay, so those are all of our words. Most of them are nouns, a couple of them are adjectives, many of them started as verbs. The last thing I want to talk to you about is a new root. So if you open your book to page 164, we are going to talk about the Latin root TECT. TECT, where am I going to put this? TECT means cover or shield. So think about the word protect, right? When somebody tries to protect you, they're trying to shield you or cover you. Another root that you're going to see on this page is cover. So you're going to see that with words like cover, coverage, discover, discovery, uncover, and so forth. So anytime you see TECT, it's going to mean cover or shield. Anytime you see cover, it's also going to mean cover, obviously. But it can also mean close. So the reason we're talking about this today is because we have the word discover or discovery. Discovery starts with a prefix dis. Dis can often mean not. So if someone's dishonest, they're not honest. It can also mean do the opposite. So if you disapprove of something, you're doing the opposite of approving. If you're disobeying someone, you're doing the opposite of it. So if you discover something, you're doing the opposite. It's almost like you're uncovering it, right? So if you think about a secret, it's covered up, right? It's closed up. Nobody knows what's in there. When you discover it, you are opening it up. So that's how this word fits right here, okay? A little bit different from the word uncover. That seems to be more of a physical act, like you uncover a pot by taking the lid off. Discover is more abstract because instead of uncovering a pot, you are uncovering like a secret or a mystery, that sort of thing. I hope that makes sense. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.